It was a moonless night when I found myself driving along a desolate highway that cut through the heart of a dense forest. The trees loomed tall and menacing, casting eerie shadows on the road. The only light guiding my way was the faint glow of my car's headlights, painting a narrow path ahead. As I ventured further into the darkness, an unsettling feeling crept over me. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of my own racing heart. It felt as if I had entered a different realm, a place disconnected from the world I knew. Suddenly, a thick fog began to roll in, swallowing the road in a hazy shroud. It seemed to materialize out of nowhere, enveloping everything in its cold embrace. My visibility diminished to a mere few feet, and I had to rely solely on the dim beams of light to guide me forward. In the midst of the fog, I caught glimpses of strange figures lurking at the edge of the road. They seemed human, but their movements were unnatural and erratic. Panic set in, and I pressed harder on the accelerator, desperate to escape whatever malevolent presence lurked in the mist. As I accelerated, the fog grew thicker, making it nearly impossible to see anything beyond the immediate vicinity of the car. The road ahead disappeared into an abyss, and I felt as if I were hurtling through a void. The only thing that kept me going was the hope of reaching the safety of civilization. Suddenly, the engine sputtered and died. The car rolled to a stop, leaving me stranded in the middle of nowhere. Panic washed over me as I frantically tried to restart the engine, but to no avail. Sweat dripped down my brow as I realized the direness of the situation. I was alone, surrounded by an impenetrable fog, with no means of escape. The silence that followed was oppressive. The air grew thick with an unidentifiable presence, and a profound sense of dread settled over me. Then, from the dense fog emerged a figure, a tall, gaunt silhouette that moved with an unnatural grace. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent light as it drew closer. Fear gripped me, paralyzing my body. The figure approached my car, its presence suffocating. I could hear its shallow, raspy breaths, filling the air with a chilling intensity. The figure pressed its skeletal hands against the window, its eyes boring into mine. It opened its mouth, emitting a low, guttural growl that reverberated through my bones. In a desperate attempt to escape, I fumbled with the car door, but it refused to budge. The figure outside grew more agitated, pounding on the window with bony fists. Its wailing cries filled the air, mixing with the sound of my pounding heart. I closed my eyes, bracing myself for the worst. Just as I had resigned myself to my fate, the fog suddenly dissipated, revealing a clear night sky. The figure vanished, leaving me shaken and bewildered. I turned the key in the ignition, and miraculously, the engine roared back to life. Without hesitation, I sped away from that nightmarish scene, the memory of that haunting figure etched into my mind. To this day, I cannot explain what transpired on that desolate highway. I have never dared to drive through the forest at night again, haunted by the memory of that malevolent presence. Some things are better left unexplored, and the horrors that lurk in the darkness are not to be taken lightly.